Autumn stared at Terrence's text message. Playing the saint now, huh? Living in your mansion? Playing happy wife? Does Cassian know what you really are? What you did? He would throw you out of his house in disgust so fast the moment he hears the truth. I need money, Autumn, $500, just to tide me over. Unless you want me to tell him everything? Your choice. I'll send you my account info. Her hands shook so badly she nearly dropped the phone. $500. She had it. Barely. She had just paid her fees for the year. But this was blackmail. This was Terrence using the worst moment of her life as a weapon. She should tell Cassian. But then she thought about 3 nights ago. About what had happened in his study. He'd kissed her. Hard and desperate and real. And Autumn had kissed him back just as fiercely. When they'd broken apart, both breathing hard, Cassian had said the words that terrified her. I love you, Autumn. This has stopped being fake to me. She'd panicked inwardly, but put on a brave face and promised to face the scary new feelings together. But she'd been avoiding him ever since. Because loving him meant he'd eventually want to know everything about her. And when he found out what she'd done, that her parents were gone because of her selfishness, he'd look at her differently. The man who'd confessed his love would see her for what she really was. A killer. So Autumn did what she thought was best for the moment. She transferred $500 to Terrence's account. Just this once. Just until I figure out what to do. She didn't tell Cassian. Couldn't tell Cassian. Not when he'd just opened his heart to her. Not when she was terrified of losing him. Meanwhile, Cassian was getting frustrated. For months, he and Autumn had been dancing around each other, growing closer, building something real. Then he'd finally been honest. Told her how he felt. Kissed her like he'd been wanting to for weeks. And she'd run. Autumn had been avoiding him like he had the plague. She took her meals in her room, left for work early, came home late. When they did cross paths, she barely met his eyes. It was driving him insane. Sir, the shipment from the South Docks has been secured, Bishop said, pulling Cassian's attention back to business. They were in Cassian's office at one of his warehouses. This was the part of his operation Autumn knew nothing about. The collections, the loans, the enforcement. Good. And the territory dispute with the East Side crew? Handled. They won't be a problem anymore. Cassian nodded. This was his world. Violence and power and control. The legitimate businesses were just a front. This was who he really was. And maybe that's why Autumn was pulling away. Maybe she'd finally seen him clearly and was smart enough to be afraid. Boss, there's something else, Bishop said carefully. Terrence right. Cassian's jaw tightened. What about him? He's been spotted in Chicago again, multiple times over the past 2 weeks. He violated our agreement. Yes, sir. And according to our surveillance, he's been living well. New apartment in a decent neighborhood, eating at expensive restaurants, new clothes. On what money? He was broke when we kicked him out. That's what I'd like to know. Bishop pulled out his phone, showing Cassian photos of Terrence. Want me to bring him in? Have a conversation? Cassian studied the photos. Terrence looked smug, happy, like he'd hit a jackpot. Not yet. Follow him. Find out where the money's coming from. If he's running a game in my city, I want to know about it. And if he's bothering Mrs. Moreau, then we'll have a very different conversation. Cassian's voice dropped to something cold. One he won't walk away from. Autumn stood in the hospital cafeteria, staring at her bank balance. $47. She'd given Terrence $3,800 in 2 weeks. Every demand was higher than the last. $500, then $800, then $200, then $1,800. She couldn't afford lunch, could barely afford gas to get to work. Her stomach growled. She'd had nothing but coffee since yesterday morning. But I can eat at home, she told herself. Dinner with Cassian. I just need to make it until then. Except she'd been avoiding dinner with Cassian too. Eating in her room, making excuses. Because she couldn't sit across from him and pretend everything was fine. Couldn't look into those brown eyes that had said, I love you, and was expectantly waiting for her response. So she'd stopped eating at home too. Water from the fountain. That was free. She filled her bottle and went back to work. The shift was brutal. 12 hours on her feet with nothing in her system. By hour 10, she was lightheaded, shaky. "You okay?" one of the other nurses asked. "Fine, just tired." She wasn't fine, but she couldn't explain why she was falling apart. That night, she came home late, deliberately. Waited until she was sure Cassian would be in his study or out on business. She slipped into the kitchen. Odessa had left dinner warming in the oven. Autumn's mouth watered. Roasted chicken, vegetables, fresh bread. She made herself a plate and took it to her room. But as she passed Cassian's study, the door opened. He stood there, still in his black suit from whatever business he'd been handling. His dreads were loose around his shoulders. His expression was unreadable. "Autumn. Cassian, I was just avoiding me. Again." His voice was flat. "It's been 2 weeks. How much longer are you going to keep this up?" "I'm not avoiding you. Don't lie to me." Cassian stepped closer, and Autumn had to fight the urge to step back. This was the dangerous man she'd married, not the gentle one who cooked her breakfast. "I told you how I felt. You ran. I get it. But we're going to talk about this eventually." "I know. I need time." "Time for what? To decide if I'm worth the risk?" Cassian's jaw tightened. "I laid myself bare to you, Autumn. Told you things I've never told anyone, and you've been hiding from me ever since." "That's not—" Autumn's voice broke. "It's not you. It's me. I'm just what? Just terrified you'll find out the truth and hate me. Just being blackmailed by my ex. Just slowly falling apart and too ashamed to ask for help." She couldn't say anything of that. "I'm just not ready," she whispered. Cassian stared at her for a long moment. Then he nodded, his expression going cold. "Fine. Take all the time you need. But Autumn, I'm not a patient man. And I don't chase women who don't want to be caught." He walked past her, his shoulder brushing hers, and disappeared down the hallway. Autumn stood there, plate in hand, tears streaming down her face. She'd just pushed away the best thing in her life, and she had no idea how to fix it. 3 weeks later, Cassian sat in his office, staring at the report Bishop had just given him. "You're sure?" "Positive, sir. Terrence Wright has been receiving regular deposits over the past 5 weeks. Different amounts. $500, $800, $1 to $200, all from the same account." "Whose account?" Bishop hesitated. "Mrs. Moreau's." The words hit like a physical blow. Autumn had been giving Terrence money, thousands of dollars. "How much total?" "Almost $12,000 last time I checked. The last monthly allowance you paid her was forwarded straight to his account. The extra $5,000 you gave her to get some new shoes, and her salary from the hospital are the most recent deposits." Cassian's hands clenched into fists. "And you're certain it's her, not someone using her account?" "The transfers are authorized by her, from her phone, her login credentials." "Why?" Cassian's voice was dangerously quiet. "Why would she give him money?" "I don't know, sir, but there's more. Terrence has been making calls to someone associated with Vincent Cross." Vincent Cross. The name made Cassian freeze. Everything clicked into place. Terrence was blackmailing Autumn. Had to be. Why else would she give him thousands of dollars while hiding it from Cassian? And if Vincent Cross was involved? "Bring Terrence in," Cassian said, his voice like ice. "Tonight, I don't care how you do it, just bring him to the warehouse." "Yes, sir. And Mrs. Moreau?" "Don't tell her anything. Not yet. I need to handle Terrence first. Then I'll deal with my wife." Later that night, Terrence was dragged into the warehouse by 2 of Cassian's men. "What the hell, man? You can't just take people? I was sleeping, man." Cassian sat in a chair in the center of the empty space, completely calm. "Sit down, Terrence." "I don't—" One of the men forced Terrence into a chair across from Cassian. "Let's talk about our agreement," Cassian said conversationally. "You were supposed to leave Chicago, stay away from Autumn, never contact her, remember?" "I haven't. Don't lie to me." Cassian pulled out his phone, showing Terrence the bank records. "You've been taking money from her, $12,000 in 5 weeks. Why?" Terrence went pale. She offered—" "Try again." Cassian's voice dropped. "And this time, tell me the truth. or I'm going to stop being nice. Look, man, I just needed some help getting back on my feet. You've been blackmailing her. No, she's my ex. We have history. She wanted to help. Cassian stood, walked over to Terrence, leaned down until they were eye to eye. I'm going to ask you one more time. What are you holding over her head? What secret are you using to extort money from my wife? I don't know what you're talking about. Cassian's fist connected with Terrence's jaw. The chair tipped backwards, sending Terrence sprawling. Wrong answer. Okay. Terrence scrambled backwards. It's about her parents. About how they really died. She doesn't want you to know. Know what? That it was her fault. She ran away from home when she was 17 back then, when she was crazy about me, and her parents went looking for her in a storm and they got into an accident. They lost their lives because of her. She's been living with that guilt for 8 years, and she didn't want her perfect new husband to know. Cassian went very still. He couldn't believe his ears. That's the secret? That's what she's been hiding? His wife, his strong, brave, kind wife, had been carrying that guilt for 8 years, had been torturing herself, had starved herself and given away thousands of dollars to keep it hidden. And Terrence had weaponized it. I knew you were scum the moment you offered me your girlfriend, but this is another level of low. Get up, Cassian said quietly. Look, man, I'm sorry. I said get up. Terrence stood shakily. What happened next was swift and brutal. When it was over, Terrence was on the ground, barely conscious. That's for blackmailing her, Cassian said coldly, and for using her trauma against her, and for making my wife afraid to trust me. Please, I'm sorry, I'll leave. I'll never contact her again. You're right, you won't. Cassian turned to Bishop. Make sure he understands the consequences of violating our agreement, then get him out of my city permanently. With pleasure, sir. Cassian walked out of the warehouse without looking back. Behind him, Terrence's protests echoed into the night. Okay, can we talk about how Cassian just handled Terrence? Drop a "he deserved it" in the comments if you're satisfied. And hit that like button because things are about to get amazingly complicated. The next morning, Autumn woke to her phone buzzing. Unknown number. She answered groggily. Hello. Heavy breathing. Then, Autumn, help. Terrence? Cassian, he found out. Terrence's voice was thick, like his mouth was full of something or swollen. He beat me, said I violated the agreement, said if I ever contact you again. Autumn's blood went cold. What are you talking about? The money. He knows about the money, and Jesus, Autumn, he's a monster. Where are you? Chicago Med, emergency room, but I'm leaving, getting out of the city. Vincent Cross was right about him. Cassian's dangerous. You need to... Vincent? Vincent Cross? Who's that? Terrence, what did you do? I told Vincent everything. He runs deals like Cassian, but they're sworn enemies. Used to be buddies. He says he can protect me. Says he'll make Cassian pay, so I told him about the arrangement. You did what? I'm sorry, but Cassian's insane. He went too far last night. I barely escaped. I had to find protection. I can't leave Chicago like he wants me to. I don't have the resources. His men were supposed to transport me out tonight, but I just escaped and I am going to... The line went dead. Autumn sat there, her mind racing. Cassian knew about the money. Knew she'd been giving Terrence thousands of dollars. And he'd beaten Terrence badly enough to send him to the hospital. But worse, Terrence had gone to Vincent Cross, Cassian's enemy, and told him everything. She was in so much trouble. The door to her bedroom opened. Cassian stood there, still in black from last night, looking like he hadn't slept. It was the first time he entered her bedroom without knocking, and Autumn could feel the anger vibrating off him in waves. You're not going to work today, he said. His voice was devoid of emotion. Autumn felt herself sweat. She swallowed hard. Cassian, I can explain. You're calling in sick today, because we're going to sit down, and you're going to tell me everything. No more running, no more hiding. Everything, now. His voice left no room for argument. Autumn nodded, her throat tight. Good. Downstairs, 10 minutes. He left. Autumn got dressed with shaking hands. This was it, the moment she'd been dreading. Cassian was going to find out the truth, and everything was going to fall apart. They sat in Cassian's study, He'd poured himself whiskey even though it was 9 a.m., hadn't offered her any. The silence was suffocating. "I know about Terrence," Cassian finally said. "I know you've been giving him money. $12,000 in 5 weeks. I know he's been blackmailing you, and I know what secret he was using." Autumn's head snapped up. "What?" "About your parents, about the accident, about you blaming yourself for their deaths." "How?" "I had a conversation with Terrence last night. A very productive conversation." Cassian's eyes were hard. "Now I want to hear it from you. The whole story. No lies, no running, just the truth." So Autumn told him. Everything. About being 17 and rebellious. Running away with Terrence. Her parents searching for her in a storm. The drunk driver. The accident. The guilt she'd carried for 8 years. "If I hadn't been so selfish," she whispered, "they'd still be alive. You're not to blame. The drunk driver is. But they were out looking for me. Because they loved you. Because you were their child. That's what parents do." Cassian leaned forward. "Autumn, you were a kid. You made a mistake. But the accident wasn't your fault." "You don't hate me?" "Hate you?" Cassian's voice was incredulous. "I'm furious, but not at you. I'm furious you've been carrying this guilt alone for 8 years. I'm furious Terrence used it against you. I'm furious you wouldn't eat properly and gave him thousands of dollars because you were too afraid to trust me. I'm sorry. Why didn't you tell me?" Cassian stood, pacing. "After I told you I loved you, after everything we've shared, why didn't you just tell me?" "Because I was scared. You said you loved me and I thought if you knew the truth, you'd take it back. So instead you avoided me for weeks? Gave away $12,000? Barely 8? You think that was better?" "I didn't know what else to do." "You could have trusted me." Cassian's voice rose. "You could have believed that when I said I loved you, I meant all of you, not just the good parts." "I'm sorry." "Sorry isn't good enough, Autumn. Sorry doesn't fix the fact that you hid this from me. Sorry doesn't fix the fact that you let Terrence manipulate you." "What did you do to him?" Autumn asked quietly. "Terrence called me from the hospital. Said you beat him." "I did." "How badly?" "Badly enough that he'll never forget what happens when someone threatens what's mine." Cassian's eyes were cold. "I made it very clear that if he ever contacts you again, I'll do worse." Autumn should have been horrified. Instead, she felt a twisted sense of relief. "He went to Vincent Cross," she said. "I know." "Aren't you worried? He said he's your enemy. Sounded dangerous." "Vincent has been trying to start a war with me for years. This is just his latest excuse." Cassian downed his whiskey. "But yes, the fact that Terrence told him about you is a problem. Vincent knows you're important to me. That makes you a target." "I'm sorry." "Stop apologizing." Cassian moved to the window. "What's done is done. Now we deal with the consequences." "What does that mean?" "It means you don't go anywhere without security. It means I have to handle Vincent before he makes a move. And it means—" Cassian turned to face her. "It means we figure out what we're doing. This marriage. Us. Because I can't do this anymore, Autumn. I can't be in love with someone who doesn't trust me." "I do trust you." "No, you don't. If you did, you would have come to me 5 weeks ago when Terrence first contacted you. You would have told me about your parents. You would have let me help you." Cassian's voice softened slightly. "I told you I loved you. And you ran. So I need to know, do you love me? Or is this still just a business arrangement to you?" Autumn stood, her legs shaking. "I love you." "Then prove it. No more secrets, no more hiding. From now on, we face everything together." "Okay. Okay." Cassian moved toward her. "But Autumn, if you ever lie to me again, if you ever hide something this important from me again, we're done. I don't do second chances." "Understand?" "I understand." He pulled her into his arms, and Autumn finally let herself break. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry." "I know." They stood there, holding each other, both knowing things had changed between them. When he pulled back, Autumn tilted her chin up, eyes fluttering closed, lips slightly parted. waiting for the kiss that would tell her they were okay, waiting for reassurance, for forgiveness. But Cassian just squeezed her shoulder, distant, restrained, like he was holding back, and walked out. The disappointment crushed her. Worse, somehow, than the night Terrence had offered her like a bargaining chip to pay his debts. Things had been tense since Cassian's confrontation. He'd kept his distance, physically and emotionally. He was polite, protective, but the warmth was gone. And Autumn didn't know how to fix it. She was eating properly now. Cassian made sure of it. He had Odessa bring meals to her whether she asked or not. He watched her eat, making sure she finished everything. But he didn't eat with her. Didn't sit across from her and talk about their days. The connection they'd built was broken. And Autumn didn't know if it could be repaired. She was getting ready for her hospital shift when Cassian appeared in her doorway. "Don't go to work today." "Why not?" "Because I have something to show you." His expression was unreadable. "Get dressed, something comfortable. We're going out." "Cassian, what's going on?" "Trust me." The irony of those words wasn't lost on either of them. An hour later, they pulled up to a warehouse on the outskirts of the city. "Why are we here?" Autumn asked. "You wanted to know what I do. The real me. The parts I've kept hidden from you." Cassian got out of the car. "Come on, it's time you saw everything." Autumn followed him into the warehouse. Inside were at least 20 men. Bishop stood in the center, looking grim. "Sir, everything's set up like you asked." "Good." Cassian turned to Autumn. "This is my operation, the part of my life that isn't legitimate businesses and charity galas. This is who I really am." He led her deeper into the warehouse. In the center was a man tied to a chair. Not Terrence. Someone Autumn didn't recognize. "This man," Cassian said, his voice cold, "works for Vincent Cross. He was sent to watch the mansion, to gather information about you." The man coughed, then smirked through the pain. "I wasn't just watching," he said. "Vincent's interested in her." Very interested. Autumn stiffened. Cassian didn't move, didn't blink, just stared. The man chuckled. "He said he'll take her from you, break you first, then—" Cassian's hand shot out, gripping the man's face. "Choose your next words very carefully." But the idiot kept going. "She's wasted on you. A woman like that? She deserves better than—" Autumn felt the air shift. Danger thickened around Cassian like smoke. "Vincent said once he's finished with you," the man sneered. "He'll make his move on her, and there's nothing you can—" A sharp metallic click cut him off. Cassian pulled out a weapon. Autumn paled. "Cassian, wait. Don't do this, please." He didn't look at her. He aimed at the man's leg. "This is who I am, Autumn," he said softly. The man opened his mouth, maybe to beg, maybe to provoke again. A loud sound echoed through the room. The man cried out, the chair tipping sideways. "Cassian!" Autumn cried, stumbling forward. "This only creates a vicious cycle. Vincent hurts you, you hurt him, it never ends. Please, please stop." Cassian kept his position. "Cassian, don't. Please." He turned on her so fast she froze. His eyes were wild, hurt, begging, furious, all at once. "Don't preach to me," he snapped. "This is who I am. This is what protects you." "You're scaring me," she whispered. "Good." He stepped closer, intensity radiating off him, voice low and rough. "Maybe now you finally understand. I'm a man who does what needs to be done, who doesn't hesitate. Do you still love me now? Huh? Now that you've seen the truth? I'm giving you another chance to leave. I will still give you the money I promised. $200,000. Heck, $1,000,000 even. Take what you want and run. I won't judge." Autumn's heart pounded violently, but she didn't move. She didn't run. Instead, she took a slow step toward him, eyes locked on his, breathing uneven and heavy. "I'm scared," she whispered, "but I'm not running." Cassian's breath hitched. "Why?" he demanded, voice cracking. She reached up, fingers trembling as she touched his jaw. "Because the same hands that did that are the ones that make me breakfast in the morning. The ones that hold me like I'm something precious. That cook on Sundays so your staff can rest. That makes sure all your workers get free medical care so they don't get trapped with bills. Cassian's eyes darkened. Love, fear, relief, need all tangled together. You're not just cruelty, Cassian. You're complicated. You're broken in places and soft in others. You have heart. And I love all of it, even the parts that scare me. Cassian swallowed hard, staring at her like she'd just rewritten the laws of gravity. Behind him, the injured man groaned, and that seemed to snap Cassian out of his trance. He flicked his gaze to Bishop. Get him out of here. Make sure Vincent's people find him. Send the message. Yes, sir. Cassian turned back to Autumn. He stared at her for a long moment, searching, testing, trying to see if she'd flinch. She met his gaze head-on, letting him see everything. The fear, the love, the truth. All of it. Whatever Cassian saw must have satisfied something deep, dark, and desperate in him, because he suddenly grabbed her and pulled her into him. Then he kissed her. Finally. His men awkwardly looked away, clearing their throats and pretending to check their phones. But Cassian and Autumn didn't notice any of them. This kiss was intense, claiming, possessive. Autumn's heart soared and crashed at the same time. She was a lost cause. In her feelings for this man, she was gone. Too far gone. Somewhere along the line, she had fallen irredeemably in love with him. When they finally broke apart, Cassian rested his forehead against hers, breathing hard. If you're staying, if we're really doing this, you need to understand something, he said quietly. My world is dangerous. People will come after you to get to me. You could get hurt. You could. I know, she whispered, and I'm staying anyway. He let out a breath that sounded almost like a laugh. You're insane. Probably, but so are you. For the first time in a week, Cassian actually smiled. A real, unguarded smile. Come on, let's get out of here. I'm taking you home. The car ride back to the mansion was quiet, but it was a different kind of quiet than the past few weeks. Cassian drove with one hand on the wheel, the other holding Autumn's hand over the center console. His thumb traced circles on her palm, a gentle, absent-minded gesture that made her heart ache in the best way. You really meant it? He asked finally. What you said back there? Cassian was quiet for a moment. Then, I'm going to mess this up sometimes. Say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. This, relationships, feelings, trusting someone with everything, I'm not good at it. Neither am I. We'll figure it out together. Together, he repeated, like he was testing the word. I like the sound of that. They pulled up to the mansion. Cassian came around to open her door. A small gesture, but it made Autumn smile. Inside, Odessa was waiting in the foyer, concern written all over her face. Everything okay? She asked, looking between them. Everything's fine, Odessa, Cassian said. Then, to Autumn's complete shock, he added, Better than fine, actually. Odessa's eyes widened slightly as she noticed their clasped hands. A slow smile spread across her face. Well, it's about time, she muttered. I was beginning to think you two would dance around each other forever. Autumn laughed, the first real laugh in weeks. I'm going to make some tea, Odessa announced, heading toward the kitchen. You two look like you could use it. As soon as she was gone, Cassian pulled Autumn close. Stay with me tonight, he said quietly. Not in your room. Mine. Autumn's breath caught. Cassian. Not like that. Not yet. He exhaled slowly. I've spent the past week sleeping in an empty bed, knowing you were down the hall but might as well have been 1,000,000 miles away. I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to hold you. Is that okay? Yes, Autumn whispered. That's more than okay. Cassian's bedroom was different than Autumn had imagined. She'd expected something cold and minimal. Instead, it was warm. Dark wood furniture, soft lighting, a massive bed with expensive sheets that somehow looked inviting rather than intimidating. Bathroom's through there if you want to change, Cassian said, handing her one of his t-shirts. When Autumn emerged 15 minutes later, clean and wearing his shirt that hit her mid-thigh, Cassian was already in bed. Shirtless, his muscular torso on full display, wearing just black sleep pants. Her mouth went dry. Come here, he said softly, pulling back the covers. Autumn climbed in, and immediately Cassian pulled her against his chest. His arms wrapped around her, one hand stroking her back, the other tangled in her cornrows. "This okay?" he murmured. "Perfect." They lay there for a moment, just holding each other. Then Autumn tilted her head up to look at him. Their eyes met, and the air between them shifted. "Autumn," Cassian's voice was rough. "If we don't stop now, I won't be able to—" "Then don't stop." His eyes darkened. "Are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." "We don't have to rush." "Cassian." She cupped his face. "I love you. I trust you. I want this. I want you." He searched her face one more time, looking for any hesitation. Found none. And then his mouth was on hers, desperate, claiming, full of weeks of pent-up desire. "I love you," he whispered against her lips. "So damn much. Show me." And he did. Afterward, wrapped in his arms, both of them breathing hard, Autumn had never felt more complete. "You okay?" Cassian asked, pressing kisses to her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. "More than okay. That was—" "Yeah," he agreed, understanding without her needing to finish. It was. They lay there in comfortable silence, just holding each other. "Autumn?" "Hmm?" "Thank you for trusting me with this. With you." She smiled against his chest. "Thank you for being worth trusting." And for the first time in weeks, they both slept peacefully, tangled together, finally whole. 5 weeks passed in relative peace. Autumn and Cassian fell into a comfortable rhythm. She worked her hospital shifts. He handled his business. But every night they'd have dinner together and fall asleep in each other's arms. But tonight was different. Cassian had left at 7 p.m. for what should have been a quick meeting. "I'll be home by 10, he'd promised. "Wait up for me?" "Always." But 10 came and went. Then 11. Midnight. Autumn sat in the living room, calling Bishop for the 3rd time. "Mrs. Moreau, I'm sure he's fine." "Then why isn't he answering? Why aren't you with him?" "He sent me to handle something else. But I've got men with him. He's protected." A crash from the foyer. Autumn jumped up. The front door opened. Cassian stumbled in, Bishop supporting him. Autumn's heart stopped. His shirt was torn. His face was bruised. He was limping. "Oh my God, Cassian." "I'm fine," he said quickly, though his voice was strained. "It looks worse than it is. You're hurt." "Vincent's men tried an ambush at the docks. We handled it." Cassian tried to smile. "I'm okay, baby, I promise." But Autumn had already burst into tears. All the fear and worry came pouring out. "Hey, hey!" Cassian pulled away from Bishop, limping over to her. "Autumn, I'm okay. I'm right here." I thought something happened to you." "I know. I'm sorry. My phone got broken in the scuffle. I should have had Bishop call." "I was so scared." Cassian pulled her into his arms. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I worried you." After Bishop left, Autumn helped Cassian upstairs. She cleaned his injuries, bruised ribs, split knuckles, various scrapes, and made him take pain medication. "I'm okay," he kept saying as she finally let him cuddle her. "I promise." But Autumn couldn't stop crying. She'd come so close to losing him. Autumn woke feeling terrible, nauseous, exhausted, dizzy. Cassian was still asleep beside her. The pain medication had knocked him out. She slipped carefully out of bed and barely made it to the bathroom before she was sick. When she emerged, pale and shaky, Odessa was waiting in the bedroom foyer with tea. "I heard you," the older woman said gently. "Ginger tea should help." "Thank you," Autumn whispered. They went downstairs so they wouldn't wake Cassian. Odessa had made toast and eggs, but Autumn couldn't even look at food without feeling ill. "Can't eat?" Odessa asked. "I'm just worried. About last night. About Cassian." They sat quietly for a moment. Then Odessa asked, "When was your last monthly cycle?" Autumn blinked. "What?" "Your period, baby girl." "When was it?" I... Autumn tried to remember. With all the stress, the blackmail, the fighting, the reconciliation, She hadn't been tracking. Maybe 6 or 7 weeks ago? I've been so stressed I didn't notice. She stopped, looked at Odessa. No, that's not, I can't be. How long have you and Cassian been together? Intimately? Autumn's face heated. About 5 weeks, since we made up. But Odessa, I was with Terrence for 3 years. 3 years and nothing ever happened. He said I was probably the problem because he has a baby mama. Or Terrence was the problem, Odessa said gently. Not you. But we haven't been, though I'm not on anything. I never thought. Autumn's hand went to her stomach. Oh my God. You should take a test. Know for sure. I don't have one. Then go get one, honey. Better to know. Autumn grabbed her purse with shaking hands. Don't tell Cassian, not until I'm sure. Please? Your secret's safe with me. Autumn drove to a pharmacy across town, somewhere anonymous. She bought 3 different tests with cash and drove back with her heart pounding. At home, she locked herself in her old bathroom and took all 3 tests. Waited the longest 3 minutes of her life. Then looked. Positive. All 3. Autumn sat on the floor staring at them, tears streaming down her face. She was pregnant. With Cassian's baby. The man who'd been attacked last night. Who lived a dangerous life. Who might not come home someday. But also the man she loved. Who made her breakfast. Who held her like she was precious. And despite everything, she wanted this baby. Wanted his child. Wanted their family. She had to tell him. Now. Autumn hurried to Cassian's room, tests in hand. He was awake, trying to sit up and wincing. Hey, where'd you go? Then he saw her face. What's wrong? You're pale. Are you sick? I'm fine. I just need to tell you something. Cassian looked immediately concerned. What is it? Autumn opened her mouth. Both their phones rang simultaneously. Bishop. Something was wrong. Cassian answered. What? She watched his face go from concerned to furious. When? How many? Pause. Mobilize everyone. 20 minutes. He hung up. Vincent, he's coming. At least 50 men. He's making his move on the mansion. Autumn's blood went cold. What? I need to get you out. Now, safe house. No, I'm not leaving you to fight alone. I have my men. But you need to be safe. What about you? This is my territory. If I run, every enemy I have will come for us. I have to stand and fight. Cassian's voice was steel. Please, Autumn. I need to know you're safe so I can focus. Cassian, a voice boomed downstairs. Sir, they're closer than we thought. 1 hour max. We need to evacuate Mrs. Moreau now. I have to tell you something first. Autumn tried, but Cassian was already grabbing tactical gear. Tell me after. I promise I'll come get you when this is over. He kissed her quickly. I love you. Then he was gone. Autumn ran downstairs. Bishop was waiting. Mrs. Moreau, you have to go. Odessa's in the car. I need to tell him something. Later, you need to move. He pulled her outside where 2 vehicles waited. Odessa reached for her. Come on, baby. But Autumn resisted, still clutching the tests. More vehicles arrived, Cassian's men preparing for battle. No, wait, Cassian! He appeared in the doorway, already in tactical gear. She looked at the tests in her hand. Then at him. I'm pregnant, she screamed, holding up the tests. You hear me? I'm pregnant. You better come back. I'm pregnant. Cassian froze completely. His hand went to his chest. Shock, joy, terror, all at once on his face. Then Bishop pushed her into the car, the tests falling to the driveway as the door slammed. The last thing she saw was Cassian staring at those tests on the ground. Drive, Bishop ordered. The car sped away. And behind them, Autumn heard the first explosion. The fight had begun. She sobbed in Odessa's arms as they drove away from the man she loved, who was about to become a father. Comment, come back alive. If you're stressed, this is the most intense moment yet. The safe house. 3 days later, the safe house was a small apartment outside Chicago. Autumn hadn't left the couch since they arrived, eyes glued to the TV, waiting for news. Bishop had left them with guards and disappeared back to the fight. No contact since. Odessa tried to get her to eat, to rest. But Autumn couldn't. Not until she knew Cassian was alive. On the third day, the news alert came. Breaking massive fire in Lincoln Park. On screen, Cassian's mansion engulfed in flames. Fire trucks everywhere. Multiple casualties reported. Authorities confirm no survivors. Cassian Moreau believed to have perished. The remote fell from Autumn's hands. No survivors. Cassian Moreau believed gone. No, she whispered. No, no, no. She collapsed completely. The man she loved. Gone. The father of her child. Gone. Autumn moved through life like a ghost. Work, home, sleep, repeat. The only thing keeping her going was the baby. At 10 weeks pregnant, she had a small bump. A constant reminder of what she'd lost. Odessa stayed with her in a small apartment, handling everything. But Autumn was hollow. At the hospital, her colleagues noticed but didn't know what to say. She'd always been warm and bright. Now she was empty. The parking garage, late night shift. 8 weeks after the fire. Autumn finished her midnight shift, exhausted and numb. The parking garage was nearly empty. She walked toward her old car, hand resting on her small bump. "I'm sorry," she whispered to the baby. "Your father would have loved you so much." Tears fell as she reached for her keys. A hand grabbed her arm. Autumn screamed, spinning, and faced a stranger, except the height, the build, the eyes. But everything else was different. Leaner, head shaved completely, simple clothes. But those eyes... "Cassian," she whispered. He pulled her against him desperately. "It's me. I'm here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Autumn couldn't process it. The fire, the news. I know, but I'm alive. I'm here." He was crying. "God, Autumn, I'm so sorry I made you think." "How?" "Not here. Somewhere safe. Do you trust me?" She looked into those familiar eyes. "Always." Cassian took her to a nearby motel, paid cash, fake name. Once inside, he just held her. "I thought you were gone," Autumn whispered. 8 weeks. "I know. I wanted to contact you sooner, but it wasn't safe." He cupped her face. "How are you? The baby? You heard me, but you didn't say anything?" Loud and clear. "I was too stunned to speak. I saw the test kits that fell from your hands, too." His voice cracked. "That's when I knew. I couldn't keep living that life. Not with a child coming. The fire... Sit, I'll explain." He told her everything. How he'd fought Vincent's men, how they'd been winning. But then he realized, even if he won, there would always be another fight. More enemies, more danger, and he had just confirmed he had a child coming. "I made a decision during that battle. Cassian Moreau, the crime lord, needed to disappear. So I could live, so we could live." "What? How?" He laughed at the disbelief on her face. "You will be amazed at what you can do if you have money to throw about. I had some cop friends, people who owed me favors. We staged it, made it look like I didn't survive the fire. Vincent believed it because he wanted to." "You've been hiding for 8 weeks?" "Getting things ready, new identity, new accounts, so we could disappear completely." He pulled out a passport. "My name is Kai Parker now. I took your maiden name, and I'm moving to Europe, Portugal. Fresh start with you." Autumn stared at the passport. "You want me to come?" "Yes, I want a real life, a real family." His voice shook. "I know it's a lot, but Autumn, I can't do this without you. You and this baby are everything." "You left everything? For us?" "You were right that night at the warehouse. I'm complicated, broken in places. But I don't want our child growing up around the broken parts. The danger." He rested his forehead against hers. "My father passed down violence. I want to pass down something better. Love, safety, peace." "Portugal? You can pick anywhere else. Jamaica, Scotland, just anywhere but the US." Autumn thought about Chicago, her job, everything she knew. But what was here? The man she loved was supposed to be gone. But he was alive, offering a fresh start, a real life. Portugal is fine, she whispered. I'll come. I can't wait to be your wife without all the mafia stuff, Kai Parker. Kai kissed her with relief and joy. 3 days. We leave in 3 days. Everything's ready. And Odessa? She's coming too. If she wants, she's family. Autumn smiled. She'll want to. They held each other in that cheap motel room, planning their future. A future without violence. Just love, family, peace. He's alive. Comment new life. They're really leaving everything behind. Lisbon, Portugal. 6 months later. The villa was stunning. A 4-bedroom luxury home in the hills overlooking Lisbon, with floor-to-ceiling windows, an infinity pool, and manicured gardens. Modern architecture blending Portuguese charm with contemporary elegance. Nothing like the Lincoln Park mansion, but just as expensive. Because Kai Parker might have left his criminal empire behind, but he'd left it very, very wealthy. The offshore accounts, the liquidated assets, the legitimate business sales. Kai could stay home for decades and they'd still live in luxury. But he didn't. Every morning at 8 a.m., he left for his job as a security consultant for a local tech firm. Not because he needed the money, but because he wanted to know what a normal 9-to-5 felt like. It's strange, he'd told Autumn after his first week. Clocking in, having a boss, sitting in meetings about network protocols instead of territory disputes. But I like it. It's peaceful. Autumn had just smiled. Welcome to normal life. Now, 8 months pregnant, Autumn sat on their terrace overlooking the city while Kai grilled fish for dinner. Another normal life skill he was mastering. Odessa lived in the spacious guest wing of the villa, already the doting grandmother-to-be, spending her days learning Portuguese and exploring the local markets. What are you thinking about? Kai asked, bringing her fresh lemonade. Autumn watched him approach, still tall, still powerfully built, but different. His dreadlocks were growing back. Not the long, sleek locks that had fallen past his shoulders in Chicago. These were shorter, just past his ears, still in the early stages of growth. But they were there, coming back. You, she said. And how different everything is. 6 months ago I thought you were gone. And now, she gestured to the villa, the view, their life. Now I have everything. Kai sat beside her, his hand immediately going to her very pregnant belly. No regrets? About leaving Chicago? Your job at the hospital? Not one. I'll go back to nursing after the baby comes. There's a hospital in the city that's already interested. What about you? Regrets about leaving the empire? The power? Are you kidding? Kai laughed. That life almost destroyed me. He gestured around. This is what real power looks like. The power to choose peace, to choose family, to not have to look over my shoulder every second. Their daughter kicked hard. She's awake, Autumn smiled. She knows it's dinner time. Smart kid. Kai leaned down to talk to her belly. Hey, baby girl, it's your dad. Dinner's almost ready. Your mom's making me cook healthy because apparently I can't just feed you steak every night. Autumn laughed, then reached up to touch his growing dreads. These are coming back nicely? Kai ran his own hand through them self-consciously. Yeah, I've been thinking, should I cut them? Keep the short look? It's easier, and it's part of the whole new identity thing. Do you want to cut them? I don't know. What do you think? Autumn was quiet for a moment, her fingers gently playing with the short locks. Honestly, I miss them, the long ones. I know it sounds silly, but it's not silly. Kai caught her hand, kissed it. I miss them too, actually. They were part of me for so long. Then let them grow. You're not hiding anymore. You're not Cassian Moreau the crime lord, but you're not trying to be someone else either. You're Kai Parker, and Kai Parker can have dreadlocks if he wants. Yeah? Yeah, besides. Autumn smiled. I have very specific memories involving those dreads that I'd like to recreate once this baby is born, and I'm cleared for activities. Kai's eyes darkened with heat and humor. Is that so? That's so. Well then, I guess they're staying. For purely practical reasons, of course. Of course. You know what's wild? Kai said, forehead resting against hers. I used to think I will be poor by my standards if I ever left that world, but I have more money now than I ever did in Chicago. The legitimate business sales alone were worth millions. The offshore accounts, the investments, we're set for life. Multiple lives. I could buy 10 mansions if I wanted. But you got a job anyway. Because I wanted to know what it felt like to work for someone else, to have colleagues instead of subordinates, to earn a paycheck, even though I don't need it. He shook his head, smiling. My coworkers have no idea. They think I'm just some security consultant who moved here from the States. They complain about their commutes and their grocery bills, and I just... Listen, learn. It's fascinating. Do you like it? The normal life? I love it. Last week, my boss critiqued a report I wrote, told me to revise it, and I did. Without threatening him or flexing power or any of that, even though I was really tempted to. Kai laughed. Know what helped me cope? I imagined his face if I actually buy the company that very day just 'cause I can. Then I said, sure, I'll have it on your desk tomorrow. It felt good. You're really embracing this whole humble employee thing. I'm embracing being normal, being Kai, having a life that doesn't revolve around power and fear. He placed both hands on her belly. This baby is going to grow up with a father who goes to work and comes home, who plays in the yard, who doesn't have enemies or bodyguards or secret warehouses. Just a dad. Autumn's eyes filled with tears. Damn pregnancy hormones. Happy tears or sad tears? The happiest. I love you so much. I love you too, both of you. Kai kissed her belly, then her lips. Thank you. For what? For showing me I could be more than what my father made me. For giving me a reason to want something better. For loving me enough to push me to change even though I warned you not to try. He pulled her close. You saved my life, Autumn. In every way, a person can be saved. You saved mine too. When Terrence sold me, I thought my life was over. But you gave me everything. Love, safety, a real home, a family. They sat there as the sun set over Lisbon, holding each other. A former crime lord worth millions, working a regular job because he wanted to feel normal. And the nurse who'd changed his entire world. Kai? Do you ever worry that someone from Chicago will find us? Sometimes. But we covered our tracks well. New identities, new country, new everything. Vincent thinks I'm gone. Everyone thinks Cassian Moreau died in that fire. He stroked her hair. And even if someone did show up, I'm not the same person. I don't have an empire to protect anymore. I have a family, and I'd disappear again in a heartbeat to keep you safe. I don't think we'll have to. I think we really did it. We really got away. We did. Kai smiled. We get to be boring now. Just Kai and Autumn Parker living in Portugal, raising our daughter. Maybe I'll learn to surf. You can teach me Portuguese better than I'm teaching myself. We'll have family dinners and bedtime stories and all the normal things I never thought I'd have. Sounds perfect. It really does. Their daughter kicked again, stronger this time. She's going to be a fighter, Kai said proudly. With your stubbornness and my determination, that poor child doesn't stand a chance at being calm. She'll be perfect, just like her mother, and loved fiercely by her father. Damn right. As the last rays of sunlight painted the sky orange and pink, they stayed on the terrace, planning their future, dreaming about their daughter, grateful for the second chance they'd fought so hard to earn. And in 4 weeks, they'd welcome a daughter into a life built on love instead of power. And that was worth more than any empire. Thanks so much for watching to the very end. Comment, they really made it, if you love their happy ending. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this stories and want to see more stories like these. See you in the next story.